and be treated the way we was treated. I would have rather had it Malcolm's way than Martin's way, to tell you the truth, without the religious stuff. But we needed to be a little bit more militant and educated before we made that transition into integration. And we needed to understand who we were. Had we, I mean, just think about it. Had we, what if we, everything we know now that we talk about, imagine us knowing that before integration. I mean, just think about that. And that's what they was afraid of. The information was coming out and they had to do it. If we would knew who we was and everything that happened in the history before integration, it would have never happened. We would have been so separated and we would have had our stuff together with that bond. I mean, it wasn't even that long ago. And it's so much change since then. But the real wake-up call for them was the fact that no matter what they've done to us, we've always risen up. We've always come out of it. And, you know, this has been, you know, besides slavery, the longest downtime, you know, we've had in a long time. We still down in this process. And the people who are up are the ones that are bought off. And that's what people fail to realize. We're talking about these athletes that are successful and movie stars and musicians, what have you. They are controlled, plain and simple. It's a controlled control, if you understand. It's like, okay, so let's give them this to make them, you know, strive towards being a musician or strive towards being a model or actor. We're going to control all this stuff anyway, and then use it to control the rest of the people that's not under our, you know, control or in our pockets, to control the masses, the rest of the public. And this is what it is. So when you go those routes, you're in control anyway. Anything that you're putting out to the public, they control it. What makes you think they wouldn't? And this really goes towards a lot of people who thinking about being in the music industry or actor or what have you. It's control to control us, plain and simple. They're not going to leave us to our own, you know, devices to come up what we want to come up with. So you control that anger and frustration and rage, that power, that talent that we have as black people, and you give us sports. As I talked about this before, you give us sports, football, you know, basketball. Let's control these tall dudes, who's powerful dudes, these strong dudes who have this pent up aggression, you know, who might turn it on us, who might be smart enough to do something with it. And, you know, so we go to look at our most strongest black men. We go look and find them. Where are they? They're in sports. They're in sports, you know, football, basketball. They're in sports. It's not, you know, too many of them. Of course, you got regular dudes that work out, what have you. But if you are an athlete, then that's what you're probably going towards. Some type of sporting, anything, you know, competition, entertainment, some type of sports you're probably involved in, which is going to control, you know, your power, your talent. And they control that. But it's about that, you know, conscious understanding of what they're trying to do and being able to curve it. So, you know, again, us having our own is definitely the way to go in so many aspects. But if we are not programming our consciousness to understand that, we should be following our own paths and not jumping on to what's been put out there for us to follow and fail. So the concept is not hard, it's simple. You know, you follow a recipe. A recipe, you do things in these steps, a certain amount of this, a little of that. And if you do everything correctly, you end up, you know, with a cake or what have you. But you got to that end. You got to where you wanted to be because you followed these steps, these directions, and everything worked out. So if you're not programming yourself with those same steps to get to where you want to be, then you're not going to get there. The cake is not going to come out right if you don't follow the recipe the right way. So for what you're trying to do, there's a recipe. It's a recipe for it. Whatever type of success you're trying to go towards, there's a recipe for it. There's steps to getting there. If you don't program yourself to follow those steps, it's not as easy as you just saying, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you're not constantly putting it into yourself the way they're constantly trying to put something else in that place, then that something else is going to overpower what you're trying to accomplish. And that's what meditation is about. You making sure that that is at the forefront, those steps that you want, and not that programming, because the programming is out there and it's everywhere. Unless you're going to isolate yourself from everything, you're going to be susceptible to the programming, and you're going to think Even right now, you can beat it. You have control over it. And little by little, slowly, you'll see it'll take over. It'll win. Plain and simple. This is why people say when some people get rich, when they get money, they change. Because now, you know, the whole mission is just over. It's done. Whatever you was trying to do, you know, is out the way. Money comes in and take over, and there's a power with money that people just follow, you know. And if you're not conscious, when you have a certain amount of money, you will fall victim to that consciousness of the money, to that whole programming of the money. And it's something you got to be, you know, definitely wary about, and definitely understand before you really jump into certain situations. If the programming is not there for you to understand the pitfalls, the things that's in the way to hinder you, you're going to fall for them every single time. So programming is key. Meditation is key. And there's a lot of people out there who are trying to get you to believe that meditation is just this spiritual thing that's something else, you know, that's not about programming yourself to change the consciousness that is, you know, basically moving you to the direction that they want you to move in. So now tomorrow is the 4th of July, Independence Day in America, my brother's birthday also. And the Purge, the first Purge is coming out tomorrow. And I believe after tomorrow, after a lot of people see that movie, it's going to be a lot of talk about it, a lot of outrage probably. And just by looking at the trailer, we see it looks predominantly African-American, black people. And it's a weird thing, you know, the first Purge, what is that about? So again, as I said, this is going to be something, I talked about this in the Time video. It's going to be something that a lot of people are going to look at and panic over, or have a lot to say, and not realize that this stuff is put out there, just like everything else with the whole racial tension was put out there, to curve us in a certain direction, to get us to act out of who we are. And they have already gotten us to do that. All this stuff is building up, is leading to something. We keep seeing the constant, you know, bombardment of racial tension, you know, assaults against black people, and, you know, just, you know, racism and racist stuff all throughout the media. So much stuff going on. It's leading to something. And it's leading to a point to where black people are going to snap, and, or, you know, it's going to push us to do something that they want us to do that we don't really want to do. So we got to be mindful of that and understand it's a trap. And just part of this whole control thing, plain and simple. They do not put out nothing they don't want us to see. It's just that simple. So we understand something to be controversial. Why put it out? Why talk about it? You know, these people have responsibilities. If you're going to, you know, put out something that can cause a riot, you know, I mean, why would you do something like that? That's something that's intentional. Why would you talk about something and put out something that's going to cause tension, racial tension, problems in this country? That is by design. This is what they want to do. So everything they show us, you know, is for a reason. You know, I talked about that. I put a picture up on Instagram about the kids in a little detention center. And as I said, that is something that they want us to see, plain and simple. If they are not going to care about kids being bombed in Syria, buildings falling down, crushing kids to death, destroying families, destroying people, if they're not going to care about that, what makes you think they're going to care about Mexican kids being taken away from, you know, their family? If they don't care about us, black kids being killed by cops, like, come on. And again, by them, you know, people crying on TV. I talked about that in the post. You know, I forget her name. She was crying about it. And you had this whole hotline. You know, we ain't getting no hotline for police brutality to stop. So again, it's another spit in our face for them to show us that our lives is worthless. You know, plain and simple. And everybody's all in, you know, in an uproar about what's happening, and not looking at the track record of, you know, this government. Plain and simple. As I said, you know, we had so many black on black. We just look at the black on black crime part of it. So much black on black crime. Cops killing black people. All that stuff was happening. Congress didn't move an inch. You had all the school shootings and everything that's been happening with the school shootings and what have you, and white people being killed. Now they want to take away automatic weapons. You know, it's legal action that want to be, you know, put in place when white people are being killed, but when black people are being murdered, it's nothing. So again, all of this is manipulation, plain and simple. And we need to be, you know, really mindful about it and not act on it, and stop programming each other to follow, you know, the programming, what they putting out. Because when they put this stuff out and we take it in, and most of the time we take it in wrong, and then we repost it, we share it, and just we're spreading the programming. So this is why I don't share none of that crap anyway. And when I do talk about it, it's to get people to be mindful about the deception that's in it. So, you know, where we are at as a people basically speaks for itself. What has changed? Nothing. We have been doing the same thing over and over again, having little mini moments of, you know, revolution talk and rising up talk, only for it to just, you know, fade away once the outspoken voice is gone. You know, somebody comes along and gives a good speech or say something, and then we talk about it and it's a big deal. But then once that voice is not there to really lead us, we don't follow up. We go right back to the norm. Nobody wants to really be the outspoken leader and lead us to, you know, a situation that's going to benefit us. And, you know, it's kind of dangerous to do so right now anyway. But as I said before, it is up to us as individuals to really wake up and be the change within our own selves and in our own family and generation, and let that spread. We are so far behind. It's not going to be something quick that's going to, you know, lead to us, you know, have any kind of revolution. Everything is within. You know, we have to go within each and every one of ourselves to really find that change and really focus on what's going to help us grow and be better as a person, and, you know, take the knowledge that we learn and be able to spread it to our kids and so on and so forth. Because the culture, the way the system is set up now, is set up very well for us to not be able to, like we could back in the 60s, go in the corner and just the whole block of come and listen to somebody spit some truth. For us to be, you know, to do that anymore again, and to just get that knowledge out and then have it really resonate and stay with the people. See, it's different now, you know, because even if you get the people in a crowd and you get the respect from that crowd to get them to actually listen to you, once they leave, you know, it's like church. They go back to sinning. People go back to doing exactly, you know, going exactly against everything you just spoke about. Now, this is how we know it's the programming. Because you would think after all the police killings and shooting and everything that's been going on with the cops and this attack on black people, that we will be stronger as a people. That we wouldn't see no black on black crime. After all the shootings and everything that was happening with, you know, everything that happened with Trayvon Martin and all the other, Eric Garner and all other shootings, what have you, you would think us as black people would have just been like, yo, we got to chill out. But it's been still, you know, black on black crime like crazy. And then you have the racist white man that can sit and point at it and say, what about that? Because they don't understand. And the people that's involved don't understand that it's the control. It is the control. And it's the control of the consciousness that's pushing them to those actions. And if we are not controlling our own consciousness, they are 24/7, 365. It is out there. And as I said, it began since slavery and so on and so forth. And it's something that is a part of the system now. And it's very well done. I mean, it's just, it's amazing when you really understand it. And the only thing that can beat it is individual self-control and programming of the consciousness to basically understand what's taking place and to fight against the programming and not really allow yourself to go where they want you to go. It's one of the things that baffles me, that like we actually are following what the media is telling us to follow. And it's crazy to me. So, you know, you have to ask yourself why, even with stuff like Young Turks and these other people that's out here, you know, really what they're doing is they're talking truth, but it's really egging us on. That's all it is. And you have to understand where deception is. And even though you got people like Trevor Noah, and like I said, you don't get these positions if you're not in. You got a lot of people that's supposedly speaking up for black people, and we are like, yeah, hey, that's what's up. And they talking for us and they speaking up, and yeah, you know, they right about what they saying, but we're not understanding it's part of the trap. It's a part of the control to us to keep the conversation going and to keep spreading the control, instead of us looking at it and saying, we know this stuff already. You don't got to tell me we know about it. We experience it. And just, you know, sometimes you got to do things in silence. And right now it's the time for us in silence to really program ourselves, program our subconscious to really be successful and move forward and spread that message, because you know, we see what's happening. And you know, movies like this First Purge and everything else we've been seeing is just more of the same programming, just trying to get them to push us somewhere we don't want to go. Understand, black people, historically, July, the most black people die in July. Historically, you can look it up yourself. Consequently, I mean, at the same time, you can look at the fact that more black people have been killed by cops in July. It's another thing. And it's just something about this month, you know, Independence Day. And as the elite will look at it, this will be a day they will hate history-wise for what it represents. Is their defeat, plain and simple. And it's weird, you know, when you look at the whole thing. I don't want to get into it right now. Something I'm going to talk about later. But yeah, just want to touch on this, answer you guys questions about really programming consciousness to really get you to understand it. It's no matter what you do, the programming is out there for you to fall victim to. The fact that you're even asking questions against something that is put out there to benefit you is programming. You know, when somebody giving you good advice, you should be like, okay, boom, let me follow this, listen to it. And it's just that a lot of people can't really get into the whole meditation thing because it has to do with something that's going to make you do something you don't really want to do. And that's sit down, be still, and shut the fuck up. Plain and simple. A lot of people can't do that. They can't just isolate themselves and shut up and be quiet and let their thoughts go, because all the bad shit and crazy shit that they go through and that they're doing in life starts to creep into their mind, and a lot of people can't handle it. It's the same reason why a lot of black folks can't read the Bible, because they know they're sinning all day, 24/7, 365. They can't read that book. They can't resonate with it because it's like, they fighting against themselves, an eternal struggle. And it's the same thing with meditation. A lot of people can't do it because their mind wanders. They don't like where it goes. They focus on their problems, not realizing that this is what you are supposed to do. And the only way your problems is going to change is if you program yourself to change them. Just that simple. Well, what else is there? What else have we done? We haven't tried this. Plain and simple. And I can only give you an example because it has worked for me, which is why I'm successful. And everybody who I know personally who follows me, they're successful. I get emails every day from people who are successful because they follow that simple plan and they understand it. It's only a few people. I have a personal group who I deal with, that I've been dealing with for years, who all successful people, all of us. We're all doing very well. And I try, you know, what I'm doing here is really trying to get people to understand what's going on and not to get caught up too much in the black power and the consciousness movement that has been controlled now. You know, it's leading y'all to the same place that the TV and music programming is trying to lead y'all. And that's into this whole militant fighting, kill whitey, and, you know, all about black people only, you know, thing. And not understanding that you everything you need. Plain and simple. It's all in you. We controlling this. All we got to do is control it, and then everybody else gonna follow suit. That's it. That's how it is. So once we figure that out, everything else will fix itself. So, you know, I can only give y'all what I know from experience and what I've seen happen and work for many other people. So hopefully you guys take advantage of the advice. But yeah, I want to put this quick video out, and thank you guys for taking the time to watch. And thanks for supporting. Definitely get the Time DVD that's out right now. And take advantage of the sales that's still up. The Consciousness and Energy is still up and available, what have you. And thanks for everybody that's been supporting the clothes and shoes and everything so far. There's a lot more to come on that site. And I appreciate the support. You know, it's one of those black businesses things that a lot of black people have been supporting. So it's cool. And I appreciate it. So, yeah. Personal economics, if you ain't get it, watch it. It's helping a lot of people. So definitely, you know, benefit from it. But thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Thanks for purchasing and supporting those who have so far. A lot of you so far. I just put it up for sale. A lot of people have been buying time already. So I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next video.